The wind shuffled leaves in the dark as she hunkered by the fire. We had crossed paths on the trail and exchanged items. Now it was time to exchange stories. When I was a girl, she began, rubbing her palms together. Folks said salt came from a demon that eats up sinners and leaves behind a trail of salt. I almost laughed, but held back by biting hard into my jerky. Her eyes were shadow with pinpricks of light. The fire illuminated her face, making the lines on her forehead deep and black. It glinted off a plain silver cross at the hollow of her throat. Where I come from, we have wide, flat places covered in salt. That is where the salt demon lives. They say before our town got built, there was a settlement, that those folks were people that crossed the desert in caravans and stopped at our river in the desert, that they were pious and religious and thoughtful of God, and the first building they built was a church. A holy man came by off the desert wind. His voice sounded like rain in a parched land. Said he'd crossed the desert by the glory of God Almighty, and these folks brought the stranger to be the reverend of their church. After that, the summer came and the river dried up. Crops died, folks got hungry. One man got so hungry, he killed his wife and ate her up. The people were scared. They had never seen such a crime. So the desert reverend took him to trial. He judged that the man should know his own sin before delivered upon himself. He condemned the man to be eaten by everyone in the town. Now the townfolk thought they were doing something righteous because a man of God told them to do it. Truth is, God hates when his human creations eat each other up. Even worse than killing or thieving or raping. Worse than anything. And the desert preacher knew this, because the desert preacher wasn't a preacher at all. He was a salt demon. He cooked up the condemned man over a fire and served him on plates to everyone there. And once all the people had taken a bite, they had partaken in the evilest sin, and the salt demon ate all of them up. And he spit them out in heaps of salt, so much salt he covered the whole flat in it. He had enough sinners to save bodies for later, dried in his piles of salt. He saved enough to last him centuries. That salt demon, he made a baby out of his blood and some salt. And when he died, she became the salt demon. Because her daddy had left her lots of piles of dried sinner meat to eat up. Yes, sir. Meat can be saved for a real long time when you salt it. The firelight gleamed in her eyes, and I stopped chewing. A real long time.